Good afternoon. It is Saturday, March 12th, 2022 at noontime and time for the Angelus. Alexa, cancel. Angelus Domini nunciavit Mariae et concepit Spiritus Sancto. Ave Maria, gratia plena Dominus tecum, benedicta tu in mulieribus et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Sancta Maria, Mater Dei, ora pro nobis peccatoribus, nunc et in hora mortis nostrae. Amen. Ecce ancilla Domini, fiat mihi secundum verbum tuum. Ave Maria, gratia plena Dominus tecum, benedicta tu in mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Sancta Maria, Mater Dei, ora pro nobis peccatoribus, nunc et in hora mortis nostrae. Amen. Et verbum caro factum est et habitavit in nobis. Ave Maria, gratia plena Dominus tecum, benedicta tu in mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Sancta Maria, Mater Dei, ora pro nobis peccatoribus, nunc et in hora mortis nostrae. Amen. Ora pro nobis Sancta Dei genitrix, ut digni officiamur missionibus Christi. Oremus. Gratiam tuum quesumus Domini, mensibus nostris infunde, ut qui angelo nunciante Christi filii tui incarnationem coniovimus, per passionem eos et crucem, ad resurrectionis gloriam perdugamur. Per iundum Christum Dominum nostrum. Amen. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. I'm going to remind you, as I always do, to brush your teeth, to floss especially, and to say your prayers. And, let's see here. I'm going to show you what I've been busy at work, why I have not jumped in the shower yet, and why I still have not brushed my teeth yet today. I need to do that, but this plywood down here is absolutely saturated, okay? And it's been so for, I don't want to, tell you the truth, I want to check my phone text messages before I say how long it's been, believe it or not. Because I don't want to say the wrong amount of time, but it's been a while. And it should have been pulled out the first time because it was pretty bad then, but it got worse. I didn't want there to be water damage. See that this plank right here? Boom. Because I'm not done. I still need to kind of clean it up, and I'm vacuum under there and stuff like that, This is wet. Now see, here's the thing, is you see these outside all the time because our repairman or our handyman works on these constantly. But the thing is that, like, if this unit has to come out, I don't have a proper kitchen anymore. I don't have a kitchen sink, let's say, to be able to cook in or whatever. So I don't know, for example, if technically just that, actually, no, I bet you that, what I'm trying to say is housing won't pay your rent, basically, okay? Their portion of it, if it doesn't pass inspection, if it's not up to code. And that might be a problem if that was the case, if this got destroyed and they had to pull the sink out and stuff like that. Now, let me tell you though, should it result in that, given how simple how simple the construction is over here? No, it shouldn't. But like, you never know how things go. You know, I've seen it happen to people. I've heard of landlords using things like that to get people out. Absolutely. So like, you know, and I'm not saying that, I'm not at all implying like that my landlord would do something like that or whatever, but I'm just saying there are, you know, stories abound, you know what I mean? Especially knowing people as I do on in public housing. But I'm trying to think, personally, I don't think I personally come across anyone, but I've read about stories or read about things that involve that, or stories about San Francisco landlords, because, you know, having a very hard time getting tenants out because of like rent control, and then using like renovations or like damage in the apartment that forces them to move out, sort of a thing. So that way, I mean, that I have read before. Actually, in fact, that's primarily what I'm thinking of right now. Those things can happen, and yeah, they do. You know, that is a conjunction thing between like housing and the landlord, and in that case in San Francisco, right? You know what I mean? Because they can set it up such that, like, you know, we can work with you. You know what I mean? If you're not trying to get someone out, like, then I'm sure that they could work that situation to where the tenant has enough usable something in there, or, you know, to meet the requirements, or, you know, whatever. But just all the same, they can go the opposite way and be like, oh, well, you know, it's going to be a big problem and we don't know. So anyway, my issue is this, like, I didn't know, I'm not, you know, for example, I have a better idea now that floor's out, like what's going on under there. But until I got that up out of there, and there was a very good reason to do that because it was wet and you couldn't tell how wet it could have been underneath, and so forth. Now I have a better idea of what the danger, you know, what was that risk, and what the danger is here. So yeah, so what I'm gonna go do now, after I clean this up and shower and brush my teeth, is I'm gonna go to Lowe's after I measure the space to put down some kind of wood. I don't want to put this shit down here again. I mean, personally, you know, it's just, it's awful. So, you know, he came in here though. When he did, and I'm saying that because I deliberately don't remember. I've been so busy and so absorbed the past few days that, like, I'm not paying attention to passage of time, so I don't want to misquote time. He came in here though, and I know, like, honestly, I'm not trying to be pompous, but like when somebody doesn't approach a fix to a problem anywhere near, like, you know, the way I would, there's usually something like going wrong. You know, I'm not talking about, like, I don't know things about plumbing. I don't know how to, you know what I mean? There are things that, like, I know, like, okay, beyond this level, but, you know, I don't know you know what I mean? I don't know what to do then. But for example, like, there was no reason to, like, let that plywood or particle board, like, sit there wet like that. Because honestly, when I started to break it up, I have pictures. It looks like there's some kind of mold on there. You know what I mean? It can only get worse. Because as it soaks into the rest of the unit, right? Because the particle board, it was all one piece that goes under the cabinets to the left. As that water is saturated over there, and if that was mold that I pulled out, it just, you know, I don't. There I can say, you know what I mean, and everyone will. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's going to spread. There's no reason not to address that immediately. And when I saw that the other day, I was like, you know what I mean? I already know that, like, we're not going about this forward in a straight line. So anyway, though, we're gonna take care of that today. It'll be done. I pulled out the garbage disposal and everything to do this because and it's gonna go back in there. And we'll have an accounting for things that, you know what I mean? I'll know that everything is fixed, and if there's a leak, where it's coming from, and all that kind of stuff, in a way that he did last time. Because the only thing that happened when Gino came in last time was he bought new parts, put them on, which didn't solve the problem, and left the particle board there more time. So basically, like, all he did was, make it look like he did something under there and didn't do anything. And it's funny because, like, I like Gino's person in a way I do, because he's got, like, this easygoing kind of, like, I don't know. He doesn't, he's not caustic or anything like that. So he's pretty chill, and I can be pretty chill with him. But dealing with that kind of stuff also too, can be a challenge in a way, because, like, it's not like dealing with someone that when they're trying to give you a straightforward answer and behave in a straightforward way. I'm trying to solve a problem, and there's someone that, here's a problem, this other person is not on the same page exactly with me. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's always kind of a weird maneuvering. All right, so I'm going to leave it at that. I've been in contact, of course, as I think I mentioned this earlier, with my landlord, letting him know that I was going to take this out and everything, and that's all she wrote. The dishes are in the dishwasher. I'm glad that I did not do dishes, by the way, for the past several days, which is unusual for me because I've been busy doing stuff. I'm glad I didn't, just in case I didn't take notice that this was still leaking as I did the other night. Because it might have been a real problem. But as soon as I noticed, the water's turned off, and then I used my wrench here. My gay wrench, because, like, how gay men get, like, little extra manpower, so you can turn it like a man. Use this under there, and it took quite a bit of doing to get all the water to the point where it's not dripping now. I mean, like, because there are things corroding there. I'm like, why not replace those things right now? Like, that makes the most sense. That's what what I mean? That's what you would do. In the bathroom, they're even worse. They're, I don't think you can turn the water completely off. And, like, that's a sign that it's time to change that equipment. That's the responsible thing to do, whether you're a landlord or a homeowner or a tenant that wants to suggest that to a landlord, The only thing I can say about that further is that you may find that sometimes all the parties in the situation are not on the same page, or, in other words, are not all interested in achieving the same results with the same enthusiasm. And what I mean by that is don't not jump to conclusions, but I mean, it could be a lot of things. You don't know how much money, like, for example, your landlord has to spend on something, you know what I mean? And what his priorities are, that's fair. So, I mean, it's not, definitely don't be somebody that, because your landlord isn't handling what you think is important right away, that, they're an asshole, or they are out to get you, or anything like that. I mean, there are a lot of things that come into play that, that we're often not aware of, not being landlords. All right, or just not, even if you have been a landlord, just being them. You don't know exactly what's going on, right? So that said, while that explains, and it does account for the particle board being there, it doesn't do it officially. Let's put it that way. You know what I mean? There's no real reason why that would have not came out the first day, but there is an actual reason. So, but anyway, I'm leaving it. I love you all, and peace.